Hello, YouTube universe. All right, so let me get my accoutrement all set up here. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to chant a mantra. I've been getting questions about this, about mantras, and about how to chant them. I talk about it a lot. But you really need to understand that there is a science to mantra. And you'd be surprised how few people, even in Vedic Hinduism, even Vedic Hindu gurus and teachers, what little they understand about the science of mantra. And there's no shortage of teachers either here or in India or anywhere around the world who just throw out mantras and throw out seed sounds like candy without any idea about what is actually happening. Because bear in mind that mantra is a science. Mantra, we're going to talk later about what's the difference between mantras and positive affirmations. A lot of people, in the West, it's this thing, my mantra is, my mantra, I actually have a personal mantra, in quotes, which is that always make money doing what you would do anyway. Now, we say in the parlance of the times, you can say, you can call it, that's my mantra, but it's really not your mantra. A mantra is a scientific sound equation that has very specific properties and does very specific things. So let me get up here. I've got to, sorry, I can't do multiple things at once. I'm going to try and change the link up here because I want to put astrology.thunderwizard.com up there. So let me see if I can find that. Can I find that? I'm about to give up, so I will. All right, astrology.thunderwizard.com. You can go to courses.thunderwizard.com and you can see the link. I'm going to have to do something at some point to fix this because it's driving me crazy, but I don't want to take the time now to do it. So, there is a difference between mantra and positive affirmations. And I'm going to explain to you why positive affirmations really are fairly useless. There's nothing really wrong with them, but they really don't accomplish a whole hell of a lot. And if you understand that and you understand how mantra works, you'll understand why mantra works and positive affirmations is at best hit and miss. And that's because you have to understand the science of not only sound vibration, the science of mantra, and you have to understand, you have to understand the three minds that you have. Okay, so for instance, positive affirmations only deal with the positive, positive affirmations only deal with the conscious mind. You have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and an unconscious mind. The vast majority of people, when they use the word subconscious, what they really mean is unconscious, even though they don't know it. So people will tell you that positive affirmations program the subconscious mind. What they're trying to say is that it programs the unconscious. It doesn't. Positive affirmations do not program anything. At best, what positive affirmations will do for you is if on an unconscious level, the part of you that you are not aware of, the 90% of your mind that actually accomplishes things in this world, if on an unconscious level you are already in agreement with whatever the positive affirmation is, then the positive affirmation will work. But if on an unconscious level, meaning you are not consciously aware of it, you have some childhood issue or some psychological issue or some belief on an unconscious level that is different from your positive affirmation, like most people, I want to be rich, I'm rich and I'm successful. Well, if you have an unconscious block to money, your unconscious mind will veto that affirmation every single time, and it won't work. If on an unconscious level you have overcome that block and or You already have been programmed to feel positive about money. When you say, you know what, I want to be rich, I'm going to be successful, then your unconscious mind will say, yes, sir, let's go make that happen. Mantra does not do that. Mantra is not a positive affirmation that only is dealt with in the conscious mind. Okay, it's driving me crazy. I have to change my links here. I want to see the links for the astrology. We've got the love astrology links. I've got that, which I might as well keep that there because this is a new service. We could talk about that. I'm not going to take up your time. You can go look at that link and find out what that is. By the way, the links are here for you to go to. Don't email me and ask me, where do I get this? How much is this? That's what the links are for. Pay attention. All right, it's really driving me crazy. Where are those links to? How about this? Nope, that doesn't do anything. How about, you know what? There, I found it. Links latest. There it is. I want that. Okay, and then I go back up here and then I unclick that. Whoops. All right, guys, you guys having fun? There we go. No. All right. This is the way the universe wants it. I'm too lazy to say anything else, so that's the way it's going to be. All right. Astrology.thunderwizard.com. In case you want to find that. At some point, I'll find it. We'll take a break and I'll find it at some point. All right. So, mantra. Mantra. Let's analyze what the word mantra means. I'll write it here in the notes here. Mantra comes from two roots, which is man, which is mind. You hear the significance? Man, mind. For those of you who've read my books, courses.thunderwizard.com, you can find all my books. I have books. You can read books. I have tons of them. You can read books and find out what I teach. You don't have to just come onto YouTube and sit there and try and, gather what I'm saying. You can actually read books and then come to these videos and you'll be armed with knowledge and you can ask deep, penetrative questions. Man is the root for mind. Mental. Mente in Latin languages. In the Germanic language, human beings were originally called man. And so nowadays we say man and woman, but man used to mean human. Why? Because man means mind. And so what this means is that our European ancestors, our pre-Christian ancestors, our tribal shamanic ancestors, saw human beings as these divine beings that had mind. That's what made them different from animals. They had mind. And moon. So moon and mind, the original name for moon was also man. It meant mind. Okay, we could get into that. I have that in the book. Mantra is mind plus tra, which is, we could say vehicle. So mantra means mind vehicle. Way back when I first started on YouTube, there was this guy. He didn't last very long. He was very bad at what he did. He tried to come on YouTube and tried to become a spiritual teacher, and he was throwing up videos, and he was just making stuff up as he went. And he came on to one of his videos, and he says, mantra means magical spell. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mantra does not mean magical spell. It does not mean chant. It does not mean anything like that. It means the vehicle for the liberation of the mind. So tra means also, like, I don't know the exact translation, but it means liberation. So mantra is the vehicle that brings liberation to the mind. We need to know what the mind is. The majority of you listening to me, probably, unless you followed my work, you believe that the mind is your brain, your intellect. But in actuality, the mind is not the brain. The mind is not the intellect. The Western society and modern society as a whole, but Western society in particular, is stuck in its head, stuck in its intellect. When you sit and you try and figure things out, you're not using your mind, you're using your intellect. When you're reading a book, you're not using your mind, you're using your intellect. When you're remembering things, you're not using your mind, you're using your intellect. When you are analyzing words like I am right now, you're using your intellect, not your mind. And the Western world is completely focused on the intellect. That's why the Western world is so divorced from feelings. That's why Westerners are so afraid of their feelings. That's why everybody drinks and smokes weed and parties on the weekend. They have to party on the weekend because they can't tolerate all of the feelings that have built up all week because they've been going to work, and so they have to release it. They have to divert themselves. That's why we have televisions everywhere. That's why people always have earbuds in, because we have to distance ourselves from our emotions because we're not used to them. So the mind is not the intellect. The intellect means to pick apart from among. Pick apart, to figure things out. That's good, that's bad, that's up, that's right, that's left, that's down, that's this, that's that. The mind is the reflector of the soul. Because man means mind. Man also is the root word for moon. And what does the moon do? The moon reflects the light of the sun. The sun is, the ancient word for sun was Sawol. Sounds a lot like soul because it's the same word. When our ancestors looked up at the sun, they said soul, literally S-O-U-L, soul. When they looked at the moon, they said mind. Soul, mind. So mantra is the vehicle of liberation for the mind. This is what mantra does. Mantra takes the power of the mind and expands it. So this is why the moon is so important in Vedic astrology. In Vedic astrology, which is different from Western astrology, it drives me crazy. It really does. It drives me crazy when people, come on and they start, on the comments, start saying, I'm a Capricorn with a trine this. And I say, is that Western or is that Vedic? Oh, it's Western, but I really know, well, it's a completely different system. It's 24 degrees off. Please don't tell me your Western sign. Your Vedic sign. In Vedic astrology, the moon sign is, in some cases, more important than the rising sign. We don't even deal with the sun sign in Vedic. I mean, we do, but it's really far down the totem pole. For the most important thing is your ascendant, your rising sign, and then your moon sign. Please don't tell me your Western rising or moon sign because it means nothing to me. But the reason why the moon sign is so important is because of this very reason, that we are, when we are at our highest vibration, we are operating from man, from mind, the part of us that reflects the soul, not the part of us that sits and figures things out. We need that, but that's not what creates us as humans. So mantra, the vehicle that liberates the mind. Mantras are made up of sounds. They're made up of sounds and syllables strung together in an equation. Yes, they have meaning. They have, if we're talking about the Vedic mantra science, the words have meaning, and they come from the Sanskrit language, which is a very old version of the language I'm speaking right now, Indo-European. Doesn't sound the same. If you listen to them right next to each other, you can't tell they're the same language, but they are. They're the same language. I'm just speaking a very different dialect than the ancient Vedics did. So mantras are words. They make sense. They have meaning. So you are actually speaking a language, but also you are speaking sound vibrations that have a specific sequence, and that sequence is an equation. That equation creates a spiritual reality of some kind. It may open a portal. Ideally, what happens when you chant a mantra is that you are chanting sound vibrations in an equation that will result in opening up a portal through which a deity can come into your presence. When you have accomplished that, you have accomplished what's called siddhi. Mantra siddhi. When you have achieved siddhi in the mantra, then the deity has been manifested in your presence, whether you see it or hear it, doesn't matter. And then with that, you can give your request. And the idea is that when you have done all this work and the deity is there to listen to your request, it has to give you what you ask for. So this is why people like to do mantra. In the Vedic mythology, you hear about the demons, which really they're not demons, they're called asuras. And asuras are not demons, they're actually earthbound, not earthbound deities. They're deities that live in space-time. In my ancestral spirituality, we'd call them Vanir. They just represent the gods of fertility, the gods of space-time who live in space-time. The asuras in the Vedic mythology would do their spiritual disciplines and their mantras to like Shiva or to Brahma in order to get a boon, in order to get control over the universe. So they would seek to have control over the universe, very selfish. But because they had, stood on their head and chanted Om Namah Shivaya for 10,000 years, with complete devotion and with complete concentration, the god Shiva must appear before them and must give them what they ask, even if what they want is to control the universe. So this is a lesson of telling you what the whole point of mantra is. The whole point of mantra is to create a portal through which the deity can come and you can ask the deity for your request. Now, we have other things. Mantra is just one part of the whole science. We also have yantra. Yantra is diagrams, spiritual diagrams. Nowadays, even in Vedic Hinduism, you can have statues of the deities, statues of Ganesha, statues of Shiva, of Kali, whatever. But that is actually something that has happened in recent times, since the Middle Ages. Before the Middle Ages, in Vedic Hinduism, they didn't have idols. They had yantras. I'll show you what a yantra is. This, I have to see myself here so I can see if you can see it. This right here is a yantra. This one is called the Shri yantra, meaning the highest, the most powerful. Within this is said to be all of the deities, all of the mantra. And the idea with this is that this is actually what was used before you had idols. Before you had idols, you had these. You had yantras. Yantras are not created, they are seen in meditation. Mantras are not created, they are seen in meditation. And so the idea is that you place the yantra, in front of you or on an altar in front of you, and you would worship the yantra as though it were the deity, and that is because it is the deity. This one in particular happens to be the supreme goddess, which she has all of the deities within. So all the deities and all of the mantras and all the yantras are said to be held within this, the Shri Yantra. And so what you do with that is you worship it as though it were a deity. You place flowers in front of it and incense and all of that. When you chant your mantra, you energize this and imagine this turning into a three-dimensional beam of light. It's the essence of the universe. You have to understand, these are what mantras are, the sound vibrations of that. Or in this case, if I were to chant any mantra, any real Vedic mantra, it would stimulate the Shri Yantra, or the aspects within the Shri Yantra, to bring forth that deity. So imagine this is sitting on your altar here, and it becomes like a Star Trek, whatever, a teleporter, and the deity would appear, whether you see it or not. That's the idea. These are what mantras are. Mantras are not positive affirmations. You're not telling yourself, I'm a good person, I'm going to be rich, I blah, blah, blah. That's not what mantras do. Mantras are a science. Now, when it comes to chanting mantras, as I said in the beginning, there are no shortage of teachers, even Indian gurus, that just throw mantras out like candy without any awareness of what those mantras are. There are some mantras that are all-purpose. I've mentioned one already, Om Namah Shivaya. I'll write it down here for you. Om Namah Shivaya. That is an all-purpose mantra that anybody can use. The Om mantra, which you see it written as Om, but it's actually pronounced O-N-G. Even a lot of Vedic Hindus don't know that. The little dot, when you see the Om character in Sanskrit, the dot is the NG sound. The NG sound, when you chant it, vibrates the pineal and the pituitary and sends it out through the crown chakra. Om Namah Shivaya. If you want, you can chant that. If you want to chant Om, you can do that. Those are all those are all-purpose mantras that anybody can do. But when you start handing out some of these other mantras, then, like people look things up. They want to look up a Kali mantra. So they'll go online and look up a Kali mantra. They don't even know if they should be chanting to Kali. They don't even know if Saturn, because Kali represents Saturn, the planet Saturn, should they be empowering Saturn? Saturn is restriction. Saturn is karma. I'm no different than anybody else. That's what I did years ago. I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, when I was living in Idaho, I was wanting to understand, and I was studying mantra, and I was doing the same thing everybody else was doing. I was picking up books and reading it, and there's a guy named Thomas Ashley Farrand, who on the one hand, he's no longer with us, he's passed away, but he did a great service in that he wrote all these books on mantra, and he has these giant books with all these lists of different mantras, but he had no idea how to use them. He would create these things called mantra cocktails, which he would take like 5 or 6 different mantras and shove them together and say, chant these all in order, and this will help with this. And he had no idea what he was doing. No clue. That's the last thing you want to do, because every mantra has a specific planet that it stimulates. It also has a specific deity, because remember, the mantra and the yantra are a deity. When you chant a mantra and when you use a yantra, you are creating a portal for the deity to manifest. Whether you see him or her or not, they're manifesting in front of you. So the idea of chanting 5 or 6 mantras back to back, it is like chanting 5 or 6 different planets and 5 or 6 different deities, and they're all like bunched up and rubbing against each other. And on top of that, each mantra has a rishi, which is a seer, somebody who has seen the mantra. So when you chant a mantra, there's the rishi that sits on your head, there is the planet that is being stimulated, and there's the deity that's going to arise as a result. You're chanting 5 or 6 mantras, all the rishis are sort of bumping into each other on your head, and they're trying to do their thing, and the planets are coming in. And if you have Mars and Saturn and they're at odds with each other in your chart, then Mars and Saturn are going to fight with each other, and all the deities are going to show up, and they'll be like, wait, am I first in line? Who wanted to? Oh, okay, so Kali's pretty nasty, we'll let her go first. Shiva, you go. See what I mean? People don't have a clue what this is. I myself didn't have a clue. I loved the idea of Kali. I still love the idea of Kali. Saturn is doing just fine in my chart. It's very powerfully placed, but it's not necessarily something that I want to go and stimulate. Kali herself, even if I were to chant to a Saturn deity, the syllable of her mantra, her name, is not necessarily the most pleasant experience for me based on my chart. I didn't know this before. And about 15 years ago, I was living in Idaho, and I would go up into the mountains and I would chant my Kali mantra, and forest fires would break out wherever I was. I'm not kidding, like huge major forest fires. I'm like, I've driven 25 miles, on dirt roads into the middle of nowhere, and a lightning strike and a forest fire. So I'd get in my truck and I'd drive another 100 miles another direction, get in, okay, the smoke is over there, I'm okay, and I'd chant my Kali mantra, another fire. And then finally I was forced out of the mountains, and I had to go back down to my house in Boise, and I was married at the time, and I smelled smoke everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, I could smell smoke. And I went to my wife and I said, smell the breath coming out of my nose and tell me what you smell. She goes, I smell smoke. That's what happens when I chant Kali. You have to understand what you're doing. If you don't understand what you're doing, you could cause yourself, you may give yourself enlightenment, but maybe through the most challenging circumstances you can imagine. This is what mantra does for you. You have to understand. So when you get an astrology reading from a qualified Vedic astrologer, they will be able to see in your chart what planets are helping you, what planets are harming you. They can see what deities are going to be best. So for instance, like Mars, there's a lot of Kartikeya is a Mars deity, Rudra, Hanuman, Narasimha. Now, even with Hanuman, do you want to chant to Hanuman, or do you want to chant to his other essence, which is Anjaneya? You have to know these things. Otherwise, you're just, it's like going into the chemist, well, they call them chemists here, going to the pharmacy and asking the pharmacist, or not even asking the pharmacist, just looking over and seeing all of the bottles that the pharmacist has put up, and just kind of like scratching your head and grabbing one and saying, is this good for me? That's what happens when you just grab a mantra off the internet. You don't know what you're dealing with. Now, the rule is this. You saw what happened with me. I shouldn't be chanting Kali mantras unless I want to start forest fires. But the rule is that if you don't know any better, the universe gives you a pass. It doesn't mean that you won't have challenging consequences, but it means they don't know any better. We'll try and lessen the effects. We'll let them know. But once you know, you are responsible for that knowledge. Now you know. You have listened to me, and now you know. Those of you who are going on to the internet and typing in, they want a Kali mantra, they want a Shiva mantra, should I do a Hanuman mantra? Now you know. That's like going into the pharmacist and just grabbing any prescription behind the counter and taking it and seeing what happens to you. So, you need to understand all these things, and a qualified Vedic astrologer will and should know these things for you. Hang on one second, I have to respond to this. Just 1 second here. Okay, that answers that question. All right. All right, so, sorry about that. What was I saying? Paying attention is a good thing? Yes, it is. All right, so we can take a little bit of break. I'll take a look at questions. Again, let's see if I need to make a speech about what I need you to do. So no, there aren't any questions. I only respond to questions, and I appreciate if you only ask questions. Why is that? Why do I only want to respond to questions? Because I don't serve you if I respond to your comments. See, when I'm in teacher mode, what ends up happening is that I'm in this headspace where my thought process is I want to do everything in my power to empower you to evolve. That's my job as a teacher. So my job as a teacher is to listen to what you say and what you do, and listen for whatever it is within you that needs to be addressed, needs to be encouraged, empowered, challenged, corrected. And I have a very good ability to be able to smell unconscious issues with people. And I hear it in your words. Your words tell me what your unconscious issues are, what your attachments are. I can hear it. You think you're talking about this, and this is true with me too, by the way. If my teacher were sitting here listening to me, he would be able to tell you exactly right here and now what all of my unconscious agendas are by listening to what I say. So everything I say about you is also true about me. So if you just write out hi, my name is this, or you start giving your opinion on something, the reason why I don't listen to it is because my instinct is to want to analyze what's really going on with you. But if you ask me a question, you've given me permission. This is why you should, the rule is that when you're a teacher, the rule is the student has to ask. The other day somebody gave me, this happens all the time, somebody wanted to, to me they sound like they're trying to be nice. I want to give you a gift. In reality, what they're doing is they're trying to show off. They're trying to show me how spiritual they are, or whatever it is. And so they'll say, I want to give you a gift. You said thus and such, but what you can really do is you can do this and this and this, and this is a secret. I haven't asked for that. It is unhelpful to everybody when you give people knowledge when they haven't asked for it. So that's why I don't respond to anything other than questions. Because when you ask me a question, you are asking my permission to come in and do exactly what I described. And then if I say what you don't want to hear, then people want to say, and they defend themselves, and that just makes me want to go even deeper. Anyway, I did see a question come up. If you're going to write a question, here's what I'd like for you to do. Write the word question so that I can see you're asking a question, because otherwise I may not know. Okay? All right. Giovanni Brancaccio. Do you feel, again, please write the word question, otherwise I'll miss it. Do you feel the vibrational shift on the earth right now? I don't understand your question. How am I supposed to respond to that? If I say yes, I feel the vibrational shift, what does that mean? Are you trying to tell us, Giovanni, that you feel the vibrational shift and you're trying to get me to co-sign that you feel? That's not a question. You're not asking me something that you don't know. That's what I want from you. I want you to ask me something that you don't know or that you don't understand that you think I have the answer to. I'm not interested in drinking a beer with you and saying, hey man, I feel the vibrational shift. Do you? I'm happy that you feel the vibrational shift, but you haven't asked me a question. See what I mean? I can tell underneath what's really going on. All right. Jovan Hudson, question. Can you explain Vegvisir, please? No, I can't. The reason I can't is because I haven't been doing any research in that lately, and so anything I say will just be me trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about, and I don't like to talk about things that I don't feel like I have some depth about at the moment. I'm familiar with it, but it's been a long time since I've thought about it, so nope, I don't want to waste your time with it. All right, so when you don't ask me questions, I'm going to sell you stuff. So here's what I'm going to do, since we have loveastrology.thunderwizard.com link up there. I am going to talk about a new service, which is Wanderer stopped me in my tracks. Question. Wanderer. Question. My spiritual name for my reading were names that start with Ku, K-U. So let me explain what that means. When you get a Vedic astrological reading from me or from one of my apprentices at astrology.thunderwizard.com, you can go to courses.thunderwizard.com to find the link for astrology. When you get a reading from me or one of my apprentices, what will happen is we will give you a syllable that is associated with your moon. And that is something you can use for a spiritual name. The reason why is because when somebody says your name and uses the syllable of where your moon is placed, your mind is stimulated to vibrate at its highest level. Remember I said that human beings, their essence is mind. That's what makes them human. If you're not connected to your mind, you're not a human, you're a dwarf. You're a subhuman. A human, a man, both men and women, is somebody who vibrates with their highest mind. They're connected, they reflect the power of their soul and the universal soul. So when somebody calls you by your spiritual name, which vibrates with your mind, that accumulates over time. A little kid is born, it's a girl, let's say that her syllable is La. So they call her Lakshmi. Hey Lakshmi, come here, you're such a good girl. Lakshmi, you're so cute. Lakshmi, make sure to close the door. Lakshmi, brush your teeth. Lakshmi. Every time they do that, little Lakshmi's mind is stimulated to vibrate from its highest level. She processes her emotions better, she learns better, she meditates better, she's in a more meditative state all the time. This is what he's asking. So he obviously got a reading from me or one of my apprentices and found out that his name starts with Ku. So, does this need to be a traditional Vedic name? No. You can call yourself Cuckoo. Hi, my name is Wanderer, but my friends call me Cuckoo. Doesn't matter. Or just any name that starts with Ku. Yes, that's the answer to that question. All right, no other questions. So now, as I said, if you don't ask me questions, I got to sell you stuff. Because, by the way, if you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, you're going to see a video of me complaining about I forgot to save money to pay my taxes. Ha! Now, oops. And if you're an American and you're self-employed, they tax the hell out of you. I don't know why that is. Why aren't we rewarding people for having their own business? Why are we penalizing somebody? I guess it works to the benefit of the big companies and corporations, because then you go and you work for them, and then your taxes are less, and it gets taken out of your. So you want to help me pay my taxes? Go to courses.thunderwizard.com. Everything is slashed, including the astrology courses. So I'm going to sell you the astrology course, Love Astrology, a new service that I just created, which I just did the first one, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing more of them. So here it is. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Where the heck is it? What the heck is going on with me here? There we go. Okay, so I'm offering a new service, and you can find this at loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. For a while now, people have been asking me to talk more in depth about the spiritual understanding of the union of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, relationships, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And recently I've been talking about what I believe to be some misunderstandings about the twin flame understanding and soulmates. So I have been, for myself, doing a lot of work researching love astrology. And I've been doing this for years. I just haven't offered it in my astrology readings. So you can go to loveastrology.thunderwizard.com, and while you're there, you can decide what kind of love reading you want. So we've got twin flame compatibility chart. So let's talk about that. So in Vedic astrology, which is what I practice, which in my experience for me has been far more accurate. And by the way, I never teach anything or do any service that doesn't work for me personally. I do this at like every time. If I'm single and I meet somebody, I get her birth information as soon as possible, and I go in and I do these things to see if we're compatible. The woman who was without a doubt what I would consider to be a twin flame, if you want to use that word, you could see in our charts that we were in fact the same mind in two bodies. So Vedic astrology will show that. Now, it's important to be able to know the difference between an actual soulmate twin flame connection and your karmic projection. And these are lots of times mistaken for twin flame. In fact, when people will misunderstand or justify a dysfunctional codependent relationship and call it a twin flame relationship because there's so much dysfunction going on. So this can be seen in the chart as well. And I can tell you from my personal experience, whenever I've looked at astrology, Vedic astrology, and used it to see compatibility, it's always turned out to be accurate. You know, and I could get into specifics, but I won't take up your time with that. So that is one service that I give, is the twin flame compatibility chart. So if you're dating somebody, either you just met them or you've been dating them for a while, you can, as long as you have their birth information and your birth information, you can work with me, and I'll be happy to take a look at both of those charts and let you know whether or not this is a twin flame connection or a soulmate connection, or what kind of connection you actually have. All right, the next thing that I'm going to be showing you, which is something that is really wonderful about Vedic astrology, and I've only known a couple of Vedic astrologers who actually knew how to do this, and luckily the guy that I learned from taught me how to do it. And this is, how many soulmates or twin flames will you have in your life? Obviously the idea of twin flame is there's only one, but how many of these kinds of relationships are you going to have in your life? What I can tell you, I may not be able to tell you the exact number that you'll have, but let's say you've been married and divorced and you're looking for your second marriage. Maybe you've been married twice and you're looking for your third. Maybe you've never been married. Maybe you've had an intense relationship. This is going to be in your chart, and I can be able to look at your chart and tell you. In fact, and I've done this before, like with people who have been divorced, I'll say, have you been married? And they'll say yes, and I'll say, hang on. And I'll look at their chart and I'll go, oh, I see here that you guys broke up because you fought all the time. That's right. Oh, let me take a look here. I'm seeing here that you got a divorce because he cheated on you. Yes, that's absolutely right. So this will be in the chart if you know how to look for it. So that means you can look ahead to see what kind of relationship you're going to have. You can see how the relationship will end, if it's going to end. You'll see what will keep the relationship together. So for instance, you see something like that, that maybe infidelity is a possibility. There are things that you can do to remedy that situation so that may not happen for you. So this is in the second package, which will tell you how many soulmates that you're going to have in your life, how those relationships are going to end. And so go to loveastrology.thunderwizard.com and you'll see all the options there. I'm really excited about this. People have been asking me to do this kind of thing for a long time, so I'm finally giving it out. So loveastrology.thunderwizard.com, and keep your eyes peeled, because on the channel we're going to be talking a lot more about relationships and the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in all kinds of different ways. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Hello. All right, so I think there's some questions that came up. Actually, Runaway Train asked a question. He wasn't trying to, he was trying to make a comment. But if he had asked this question, I would have responded to it. So I am going to, because it's actually a good question. He says, Kali's traditional image doesn't look inviting at all. Why would one even invoke her? Excellent question. You have to understand what the symbolism of all these things are. Kali's symbolism, by the way, just because Kali, when I chant to Kali, doesn't, just because I have a challenging experience with her, doesn't mean that everybody else is going to have that experience. For some, Kali is going to be this very loving, very sweet, very motherly, extremely tender, the most tender mother you could possibly imagine. But it has to do with how Saturn is in your chart. So Kali is the mother. She is like the fierce aspect of the mother. There's multiple fierce aspects of the mother. She is the Saturnian fierce aspect of the mother. She is actually very sweet and beautiful and kind and loving, until somebody comes to attack her children. So the pictures that you see of her, where she is wearing a skirt of severed arms, where she has a necklace of skulls, her face is fierce, her teeth are bared and her tongue is out, and there's blood dripping out of her mouth. No, that is not an appealing image right off the bat. And so people make the mistake, especially Westerners, go, oh, Kali is the goddess of death. Absolutely, totally untrue. There is a goddess of death. That's not, Kali is not her. Kali, when she is like that, what you're seeing is the severed arms that she's wearing means that she takes on your karma. Arms represent actions. Your karma means action. So there's no such thing as good karma or bad karma. There is just the result of your actions, which includes your beliefs. Your beliefs and your actions create things that get stuck in the fabric of reality that must play themselves out in your life. Learn about that. Go and watch my videos about WYRD, W-Y-R-D. Go type this in. While I'm in it, thinking about it, the best way to make use of my channel is to go onto my channel page. To do that, you can go onto YouTube and type in Thunder Wizard, and you'll see my channel page come up on YouTube. Click on that. When you go on that, if you're on a desktop, I think it's the same on a phone, or I don't care. Go and next to the menu where it says, the menu there, you'll see a little magnifying glass. Click on that. Another search bar will come up. Go in and type in WYRD, and you'll hear me talk about WYRD, which has to do with karma. But anything else you want to learn about, go there. Please don't ask me questions like, I tried to type in such and such in YouTube and I couldn't find your channel. Well, of course not. Look at my channel. So what was I saying? Something really important. So the severed arms that she's wearing is your karma. She is taking the negative effects of your karma and she's wearing it. as a skirt. The skulls that she has around her neck are all of the human failings: greed, lust, misery, self-hatred, insecurity, all these things. These are the skulls, and they represent, these things bring death. So she's taking on the death, the things that you do to yourself that cause you to die, and she's taking them on. There's a demon, she's fighting an army of demons, and one of the demons is called Rakta Bija, which means drop of blood. And there's a demon that every time you go to smash him, you smash him and he gets smushed, but drops of blood go flying everywhere. Each one of those drops of blood becomes another clone of him. So every time you try and deal with these personal failings and you try and squish them, the moment you do, they just pop up in a bunch of other forms. And so she is scooping up and drinking all of the blood, and it's coming out of the... So if you see her this way, like if she appears to you looking like that, it means that she sees in you something that is destroying your ability to live your life to your highest, and she is coming for that demon. Now, if you're attached to that, let's say you're an alcoholic, you're attached to, this is cola, by the way, and it's not that, it's organic kombucha cola. So if you're sitting there and you're drinking beer and you're attached to your beer, and she says, nope, it's time for you to go to AA and get sober, she's going to come at you, and you're going to be scared out of your mind. And it's going to be frightening and painful, but she's decided to liberate you. So why would somebody want to even invoke her? Because they want her to cleanse them and heal them. That's why. When Kali comes to you and she is a beautiful maiden and she's very tender and sweet and loving, it means that she is coming to give you comfort in your difficulties. And so you don't see that aspect of her. It means that you're not attached to whatever it is that she's going to help you with. So, hang on one second here. Sorry about that. I'm doing double duty here, doing multiple things here. All right. Cam, all yours now. Okay, so that's why you invoke her. All right. So next question. Let's see. Next question. Amy Luann asks, is there a difference between a yantra and a mandala? I don't like to give answers if I'm not absolutely certain. So I hesitate to give an answer. My understanding is that they might be the same. They definitely serve a similar function. Whether or not they're exactly the same, I'm not going to make a statement, because like I said, if I don't know, I don't pretend to know. So now you've got me wanting to go figure that out. Olaf Wolfstan. Question: is there power in chanting Aham Brahmasmi? I don't think that's the exact pronunciation. Is there power? Of course, it's a mantra. What are you asking? There is power in chanting every mantra. Are you asking me, are you trying to say to me, I am chanting Aham Brah, whatever it is? Let's see, what is that? Let's see if I can find exactly what that is. I don't think that's the exact pronunciation. Aham Brahmasmi. Brahmasmi. That mantra means, by the way, I am Brahman. So there is a God whose name is Brahma, and he represents the creative aspect. And then there is Brahman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. You put an N on the end of it, you're not talking about the God now, you're talking about the essence of divinity, the essence of the universe, the soul of the universe. So aham brahmasmi means I am Brahman. I am the essence of the universe. So you know the answer to that question. Of course there's power. What you really want to ask me is, I'm chanting it. What will happen if I chant it? Or you want to let us all know, hey, I'm chanting aham braham, whatever it is, and am I powerful now? I don't know what your agenda is. The answer is yeah. Is that the right mantra for you? I don't know. I'd have to look at your chart. And actually, I'd have to know more about that mantra. I know of it, just what I know of it gives me a lot of respect for it, but I honestly don't have any expertise in it other than that. So my answer is as good as yours. Tara Furnice, question. How do I find out my personal mantra, and would I use it every time I meditate? Tara, you are new to my channel. Yes? You would go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. You would get a reading from me or from one of my apprentices. Prices are slashed because of tax season. And you would get a mantra that would be specifically designed just for you, that yes, you would chant every day for the rest of your life if you chose to. The way that I do astrology readings is, even Vedic astrologers, they make their money off of doing superficial planet transits. I have nothing against that, but this month the planet this is doing that, so make sure that you wear purple underwear this month, because people love to hear that. Am I going to meet my soulmate this month? How's my income going to be this month, and all that? That's not the kind of readings I do. I want to give you information that will help you throughout your life. One of them is to know what mantra is specifically vibrating to your best empowerment. There's not, there can be multiple mantras that work for you, but there's one that will work specifically for your unconscious mind to help you follow your truest path and to become conscious of all of your positive traits, your positive karma, as well as all of your negative and false beliefs. So there you go. That's what you would do. Go to astrology.thunderwizard.com and I will help you with that. If you're not trained in Vedic astrology and in learning how to get a mantra, the answer is you don't have the ability to figure out what your mantra is. But to answer your second question, the mantra that I give you, you chant that for the rest of your life. It's like, you go to the doctor and he says, oh, you have an iron deficiency. Here, you need to take iron every day. Or you need B12 every day or something like that. That would be your vitamin every day, is to chant your mantra. It's cumulative. Over time, it will help you become more and more conscious. And there's one for money. You have a specific mantra for money. For instance, like a lot of people want to chant to Venus, because Venus is the goddess of prosperity. And so generally speaking, yes, you want to have Venus empowered in order to be prosperous. But what happens if Venus in your chart is in such a way where she's debilitated? When you're chanting to her, it's not really taking hold, or it's causing challenges. Might be the opposite of what you need. Maybe what you need to do is chant to Saturn, because Saturn is the planet who is responsible for your physical well-being, your money. For me, it's Mars. If I want money, I chant to Mars. This can only be seen by a qualified Vedic astrologer who can look at your chart and see what your Palana Devata is. Okay, now you know, you're responsible. Andrew Church, question. What would you say about the intensity of invoking Thor? Again, what do you mean by, you want me to, I mean, the answer is in your question. You're already telling us the statement, which is that invoking Thor is intense. I agree with you. What more do you want me to say? I mean, that's not really a question. But since you've given me the impetus to do so, if you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, there is a DVD course called Thunder Qigong. I'll write it down here. You can go and find that on Amazon. Thunder Qigong. And in Thunder Qigong, I teach a posture and a mantra for Thunar, which is the essence of Thor. That is something that was given to me. It feels kind of weird to say it, but I am the rishi of that mantra. But if you want, you can tap into that and do that practice. You can also go onto the free channel here. And again, if you know how to look within my channel, you can go and look in the playlists, or you can type into the search bar in my channel. You can type for Thor's belt or Thor's hammer. And I have a whole Qigong routine which invokes the power of Thor. So other than that, I don't really know what to say to your question, because it's not really a question. The intensity of chanting, of invoking Thor, yeah, he's the lightning god. So he's going to be intense. Thunder. There's somebody whose name is Thunder. Thunder question. What energetic / spiritual practice or practices would you recommend for a 17-year-old who is attempting to manifest their dreams into reality? The same thing that I would say to somebody who was 70. One is what I've already said. I would get a Vedic astrology reading and find out what your mantra is, and I would do that mantra ritual every day. What energetic practice? I just gave you one. Go onto my channel and find the Thor's hammer Qigong practice. You can go to spirittao.com. Where is that? Where's the Tao link? You can go to spirittao.com and you can practice celestial Qigong. If you, at 17 years old, if you start practicing celestial Qigong on a daily basis, by the time you're my age, you'll be able to walk through walls. It's the most powerful energy practice I am aware of. So those are some of the things that I would suggest that you do if you want to help. You said also to manifest their dreams into reality. For that, I recommend this book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. If you go there, and for that you go to courses.thunderwizard.com and click on my books, or you can go to michaelwilliamdenny.com. Don't worry about that, just go to this one. Just look for my books and get that book. If you read that book, it's a small book, you read it in an afternoon. If you practice what is in that book and you learn to master it, you will be able to manifest your dreams. It doesn't matter how old you are. Also, you're 17 years old, I'll tell you this. Enjoy your life. Your life should be focused on your personal happiness and enjoyment. Work hard to learn whatever it is you want to learn because it makes you happy. All right, what else? All right, that's not a question, runaway train. We only want questions. I appreciate everything else. There's no more questions. Hey, so you know what happens when you don't ask me a question, right? When you don't ask me a question, I'm forced to sell you stuff. All right, so this will help you understand. Take advantage of my products and services now, and the reason for that is it's tax time. What that means for you is 50% special on all of my products and services that you get through this courses.thunderwizard.com link, except for books and DVDs, which are Amazon, and the Patreon subscription. Everything else, I have reduced prices by sometimes 2/3. And that is because even though the Thunder Wizard is a very accomplished spiritual practitioner and teacher, he is an idiot when it comes to accounting. And so I have this huge tax bill that I have to pay, and I need money to pay it. So if you want to keep me off the streets, and if there's something that you've wanted that you've been either saving up for or waiting for a special, now is the time. You can clean up. So if you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, you're going to see all of my products and services. And on there, you're going to see a bunch of them will have a discount attached to them. Now, just because it doesn't say 50% discount on the link, don't let that stop you from going to the link and checking it out. I'm going to walk through all of the ones that I know of. So first off, we have the Becoming an Immortal video series. Now, this is something that I made a while ago because people were wanting to know about an esoteric Taoist spiritual practice called the Method of Holding the Three Ones, which allows you to become an immortal. Now, from the Taoist perspective, an immortal doesn't mean that you live forever in this body or that you achieve enlightenment. It means that you raise your energy vibration in your body and all the cells of your body to such a degree that you phase out of existence and you become a god. For them, that was one way that they could achieve enlightenment, because then you don't have to be reincarnated. You can remember who you are and what your past life was, and keep all of your memories, and you can become a god. That is the Becoming an Immortal series that you'll find on there. Second one, this one I get asked for this all the time. This is the 2-for-1 certification special. And that one, I give you 2 certifications for the Vedic astrology, the Thunder Wizard Vedic astrology, and the Thunder Wizard rune reading certification. Now, I can't even begin to tell you how many hundreds of hours of teaching are on these videos. And normally you would have to get them each separately. But now you can just pay for one and you get both certifications. When you become certified, which means that you've studied all the videos, you take a very simple test with me to let me know that you know the material, then you will become certified. You will become an official Thunder Wizard, either both Vedic astrologer and rune reader. You will get your own web page. I will put you on the pages for that, astrology.thunderwizard.com. You will be one of my astrologers. And for the runereadings.thunderwizard.com, you'll be one of my rune readers. You can use that page for yourself. You can go and advertise your business. You can, if you give me different links, I'll put links on your specific page. Just the service of putting up a page for you is worth the price of the certification. And so you've got that going on. We have the I've reduced the distance energy cleansing service that I did. Remember, I was giving it away, almost giving it away as I was introducing it. Then I raised the price significantly. I've dropped that down again, almost back to where it was in the beginning. All of your Vedic astrology, I'm going back to I'm taking off like 70% of what I used to charge for my readings. You can get an astrological reading from me. Let's see, the 4 tools to exit the matrix, that is also still at a savings level. The 5 rules to master the matrix, I've cut prices on that. The career consultations, to get a career consultation from me, I have slashed the prices on those as well. All of those links for all of those services and those teachings can be found at courses.thunderwizard.com. So Even though, as I said, many of you have thanked me, your teachings have saved my life, I've learned a lot and all of that, and I enjoy all those compliments, and I think that I've come up with some pretty wonderful and innovative ways at looking at traditional spirituality. But as I said, when it comes to managing my money, I'm an idiot. And so for that reason, you get to save a bunch of money now. Now, as soon as I have enough money to pay my taxes, my prices are going to go back to where they normally are. So I can't guarantee you how long this special is going to last, but take advantage of it now. If there's something that you've wanted to learn from me, other than the apprenticeship or the books and DVDs you get on Amazon, almost everything else, the prices have been slashed significantly. So take advantage of them. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com, shop to your heart's content, and help me to pay my taxes. Thanks a lot. All right. I still don't see any questions, but what I am going to do is I'm going to now talk about the second part of what I told you I was going to talk about today, which is the difference between mantras and positive affirmations. Talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but positive affirmations, I run into this a lot. Look, I don't go around wearing my Thunder Wizard costume all the time. I'm sort of half-assed in costume today. I don't tell people what I do. I really don't. This is what I do for a living. It's not who I am. But I run into people all the time, and they'll say, "Oh, positive affirmations. That's what you need to do. Positive affirmations." And I go, "Oh, really? Okay, great. Thanks. I'll go do that right now." But it's a misunderstanding. Positive affirmations is really popular within the law of attraction community, which is also an incomplete teaching out there. The idea that you just sit on the edge of your bed and you focus on happy feelings, and because you focus on happy feelings, happy things will come to you, which the reverse they're saying is true, which is if you focus on negative feelings, then negative things will happen to you. The problem is we can't control any of that. I mean, you have some control over whether or not you want to, try and be in a good mood, but sometimes you just don't have any control over what you're thinking and what you're feeling. The good news is you're not responsible for what you're thinking and feeling. You are responsible for what you choose to believe and what you choose to do. Those things the universe holds you responsible for. If you choose to believe that you are a victim, the universe will help you to create your victimization. If you choose to trust that the universe always has what you want and that you believe that you will have everything that you want, the universe will open up avenues for you to experience that. Because you created the universe, so that's how it works. And you create the universe every moment of every day. But that's for another video. Mantra is not trying to, like a magical spell, bring magic into the world. And that's because what a mantra does, when you chant a mantra, again, when it is attuned to you, if you chant to a mantra that is attuned to your unconscious and all the stuff we already mentioned, the correct deity, the correct planet, the correct syllable of the deity and all those things which are in your chart, when you do that, then what ends up happening is that the mantra acts like a antivirus program. And it goes like an antivirus program, and it goes into all kinds of backdoors into your unconscious, and it starts seeking and rooting out all of the beliefs, the blocks, the past life issues, the mistaken assumptions, fears. It goes and looks for them and starts to deactivate them. And what ends up happening is you start to become conscious. It brings to your conscious awareness, you realize, oh my gosh, I've got a fear of intimacy. That's why I've been destroying relationships this whole time. Oh my gosh, You know, you end up having a fear of, you find out you have a fear of prosperity and you've been sabotaging your success in your career. You start to realize these things. You start to realize, I have actually, this whole time I've been thinking that I'm really egotistical when I do this, and I've come to find out that that's actually my strength, and I'm actually being humble when I operate from my strength. And actually, when I go around trying to act all humble, I'm actually coming across like I'm passive aggressive. And, you know, just to give you an example, I was going to talk about something personal, but I'm not going to do it. All right. So this is what a mantra does. A mantra goes in and brings this up. Positive affirmations, as I said, are virtually useless because your conscious mind has this much power over your life. Your unconscious mind has this much power over your life. And what you want to be able to do is tap into the unconscious. Now, mantra by itself sometimes can be enough, but even that isn't enough. Mantra with ritual is when it really gains power. That's what I was saying earlier. This is a yantra. If I wanted to do a ritual to the goddess, then I could use this yantra. I would place this yantra in front of me. I would know. Let's say I was chanting to the Mercury goddess, Lalita, sorry, Mercury goddess Lalita. If I wanted to chant to her, I would then look in my chart. And for this, you have to have a Vedic astrologer go in and find this out. I would look and see where Mercury was in my chart, and I would see what sign Mercury was sitting in. And then I would look to see what the lord of that sign was. So let's say Mercury was sitting in Virgo, and you wanted to chant to Lalita. You would then face north, and you would put this yantra there, and you could light incense because that's the element of the northern direction and of Mercury. You would then have a ritual. You would chant the mantra that you had given that specifically is attuned to your Mercury. You would face that direction, you would do it. Boom! Now you have all of these things coming together to create a portal through which Lalita can manifest in front of you, whether you see her or not. And then she will have to give you your request. Now the question comes up, well, what if I want something that's wrong for me? Well, there's a built-in safety mechanism in there because most of these mantras you have to chant 100,000 times, 500,000 times. You have to chant it every day for an hour for 6 months, and you have to do it with one hand over here and the this and exactly this time and this, and then you have to offer that. There's all these things built into it. When you do all of those things after that length of time, if you started out with just a completely selfish desire, by the end of that your mind will have shifted and you'll go, you know what I really want is world peace or something like that. And then by the time that Lalita has manifested, you then say, I want world peace. And she says, yes. And she gives you exactly what you ask for. This is the science of mantra. When you do it according to the rules and according to these ways, you will get results every single time, without fail. You will. If you're chanting mantras and nothing is happening, it's probably because you're chanting the wrong mantra. It's stimulating the wrong deity, the wrong planet. Either that or you don't have all of the necessary ingredients and you need to keep chanting that. You know, like in the Vedic mythology, they chant mantras for 10,000 years. The Asuras will chant for 10,000 years or 100,000 years before Shiva appears to them. You haven't put enough time and effort into it. Okay? So by the way, there's a workaround for all of this stuff. One of them is to know what your Ishta Devata is. The Ishta Devata is the deity that is connected to your conscious mind. The deity associated with your conscious mind, the planet associated with your conscious mind, doesn't need any of that. It says, I don't need you to do any worship. I'm right there with you. All you have to do is is just simply talk to me and I'm right there and I'll help you. Now the Ishta Devata wants to help you get through your conscious life and get to work on time and make sure that your car is running and you do this and the phone rings and they make sure that the matrix is aligned so that you get through your life smoothly. May not be the deity you need to worship in order to have win the lottery or become fully conscious or anything. By the way, in case you hear it, it's raining like crazy. This is the rainy season. I didn't realize that summertime in Queensland is the rainy season. It's like, and it is, it's the tropics. It's it's like 80 degrees and 300% humidity. It's just been raining a lot. Anyway, that's what you're hearing. So there's some more. This is why positive affirmations are not mantras, why positive affirmations are basically useless. Don't waste your time. I mean, you can do it, you can waste your time. It won't hurt you. But more than likely, it's not really going to do a whole hell of a lot for you. Unless you happen to have already done the work on an unconscious level to make your positive affirmation aligned on your unconscious intentions. Okay? All right. Let's see what else. C. Oz. Question. Can you be born a natural wizard or witch or a shaman and do all those things as if it is part of your nature? Yeah. Why are you asking? That's not the question you want to ask. Are you asking me? I think I'm a natural born wizard and I want to know if I can be those things because it's part of my nature? I don't have the answer to that question. Is it possible? Yes. The way that normally when we're talking about shamans, so there's, basically every spiritual practitioner is a shaman. It doesn't matter if they are a priest or a healer or, a shaman is simply somebody who acts as a mediator between the spiritual and the physical. Specifically when we use the word shaman the way I use it, which by the way is a catch-all phrase, which means what's the word I'm looking for? An animist practitioner. That's really the more accurate way to say it, but so that people understand me, I use the Siberian word shaman, which means priest in the Tengarist religion, but they happen to be animists, so people have equated the word shaman with animism. How is that for a little side note there? All right. So what happens with shamans is that they go through a life and death initiation experience. So they may not be fully in their shamanic power until they have a life and death shamanic experience. Traditionally speaking, this would mean that they would get sick and almost die, or they would go crazy, or they would have a near-death experience or be struck by lightning or something like that. During one of these experiences, they may have horrific visions where they're being torn to pieces and then put back together again. In my experience, in modern times, it's less likely that there's a shamanic event, although there could be. It's more like people go through, dark nights of the soul where they question their sanity and they go through all kinds of difficulties. I can remember when I was 18, was I 17 or 18? And I went through really major horrific life, chaotic thing. And I can remember, lying in my bed and I was afraid to close my eyes because if I closed my eyes, I could see next to me in bed there was this, there was a female that, that was just all bones, like skin and bones, and she would smile at me, just like a skull. I'd close my eyes and I'd see her and it would just scare the crap out of me and I thought I was possessed by demons and all that. It turns out that I was going through an astrological period where Mars was doing its work to bring me to my shamanic knowledge, and the goddess Chamundi was there. I didn't realize that I could have asked her for anything I wanted and she would have given it to me. But I didn't know. I didn't know anything about Chamundi. All I know is there was this crazy skeleton woman next to me, and it was really frightening. And she would smile at me. That was one of my shamanic initiation experiences. All right. Son of Lilith. Question. Who was Norse god of the sun? Well, there is the goddess Sunna, where we get our word sun. Sunna is actually an Indo-European word which is in use today by the Buddhists. They use the same word. They use the word shunyata. It means emptiness. And so shunyata is a state of awareness where you are at the state of emptiness. The goddess, listen to this, our ancestors knew what they were doing. The goddess Sunna was the sun goddess. Our ancestors worshipped the sun as a goddess. There is a male aspect of the sun in Norse tradition, and his name is Balder, which means bold. It's just the Old Norse pronunciation of the word bold. Also means bald. That's why we call it a bald-faced lie, because it means there's nothing. It's just completely, there's nothing. You're just lying without even trying to hide it. Bald-faced lie. Balder is the male aspect of the sun. Our ancestors did not worship the sun in the sky as male, they worshipped her as female. Why? For the same reason that the Buddhists seek to experience shunyata, the state of emptiness. Sunna means emptiness. But it doesn't mean emptiness meaning that there's nothing there. It means pure dynamic potential. So if you know anything, and our ancestors didn't know this, but that is in the words that we speak. This is the power of ancient language, sunna. When you say sunna, you are chanting for the power of pure potential. The sun is the king of the sky, the queen of the sky. Without the sun, there is no life. At the center of the sun, you have such intense gravity that the molecules of hydrogen are fused. That takes a hell of a lot of gravity for a hydrogen molecule to fuse. It fuses and then it goes through nuclear fusion. A nuclear bomb is nuclear fission, where you're taking an atom and you're breaking it apart. You're fissive, you're breaking it apart. And the power of the bond, what's happening is the electromagnetic bond of the molecules, the atoms, when those bonds are pulled apart, the energy in that bond is released. That is what makes nuclear weapons so powerful. So imagine that fusion. The nuclear fusion is even more intense and creates this huge explosion in the center of the sun. That creates light and heat and radiation. That light and heat and radiation bounces inside of the sun for, I think it's thousands of years, to be honest. I don't know, hundreds or thousands of years. That one molecule, that one atom of hydrogen, when it's crushed, the heat and the power and the radiation that is released bounces inside of the sun and then finally finds its way out as a ray of light. That ray of light then shoots at the earth. That ray of light hits the earth and gives us heat and radiation, which the plants then feed off of, and the plants then grow. The plants are then eaten by animals, which are eaten by other animals. And so whether you're a pure carnivore or an omnivore or an herbivore, you get your life directly from the emptiness of the sun, the goddess, the mother goddess who feeds the whole world. Do you see the connection? Sunnah. Now you can feel the power. Sunnah. I can feel it. I got chills. Woo-hoo! Sunnah. The power of pure potential. The power of pure emptiness. It's not emptiness like there's nothing there. It's the power of nuclear fusion. And did you know that the surface of the sun is cooler than the rays of the sun hundreds of miles, like the corona of the sun, hundreds of miles from the surface of the sun is hotter than the actual surface of the sun. I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands. I don't know how far away it is. I'm not a scientist. What that means is we're talking about masculine and feminine. Are you listening to me? The masculine is the expression of the heat, the ray of sun, raito. The rune raito means ray, and that's why it's a solar rune. So you have Sunnah. She creates the explosive power of creation. That shoots out from her and becomes the masculine, expansive ray of light that comes to the earth, that brings us warmth. So nowadays we worship the sun as male, Surya. Surya, Ray. But our ancestors worshipped her as feminine, Sunnah, Shunyata. Do you see the connection? Nothing about this is arbitrary. Nothing about the language of our ancestors is arbitrary. This is my biggest contention with modern day pagans and neo-heathens. They have very little understanding of what they are talking about. When they want to talk about the gods, they're talking with limited knowledge. Why? Because a lot of them have a bias against anything that isn't from what they think is their ethnic heritage. I've seen people, this was a long time ago, but people would, heathens would come onto my channel and they'd hear me talking about Vedic mantra and Vedic this and the Vedic gods, and they would say, well, that's great, but that's different. No, it's not different. It's not arbitrary. It's not, there's a group of ethnic people over here and they came up with some cute words for this and that's their thing, and that's our thing. And you have your thing, and you're a different ethnic and language. It's not different. This is a science. All right. And then she asked a question. I didn't get through the whole question. This is why you should keep your questions short too. The longer the question, the more tangents I have to go off on. And also the more I hear about your unconscious. You reveal about your unconscious. With the longer the question, the more you're in your head. Shorter the question, the more honest the question is. So she went on to say, what did she say? She said, who was the Norse god of the sun, and are there any remnants of Old Norse astrology? I don't know anything about Old Norse astrology. I will tell you this. I don't know anything about it other than what I've read, but I think we're talking Bronze Age, so a long time ago. In Northern Europe, whoever they are, there have been excavations where they found these round metal caps that had constellations of sun and moon and things like that on them, that actually I think you could move them around and all that. And so they think they were worn by priests who were doing rituals. What happens when you go and watch Fantasia, the Disney cartoon? When, I think it's Mickey Mouse, wants to be a wizard, he wears a cap, a pointed cap with sun and moon and stars on. Where do you think the tradition came that we still have this idea that wizards wear caps with sun and moon and stars on? Because our ancestors thousands of years ago wore them, and they had a knowledge of the stars. They had a knowledge of the, so I don't know what their knowledge was, but I know that it was very profound. And if I'm remembering what I read, they had come to the conclusion that these caps were actually really highly tuned ways to measure the stars and the sun and all that kind of stuff. So they didn't, I don't know, I'm not aware of any Norse astrology, to answer your question. Please write the word question, Samantha Turner Figueroa. Does being on the 0 degree north help? What do you mean? For what? You have to give me context. I don't know what your question is. You gave me a short question, I appreciate that, but I don't know why you're asking that. Why are you asking that? What do you mean? Does being on 0 degree north help in what capacity? Be more specific. All right, there you go. No more questions. Since when you don't ask me questions, I got to sell you stuff. We're going to talk about the most powerful energy practice that you can practice, in my knowledge, experience, and opinion, without actually learning from a teacher. If you learn anything more powerful than this, you have to learn it in person, because if you do it wrong, you might blow a circuit. All right, this is where to go. There it is. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com, and this is Celestial Negung Part 1. Celestial Negung means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Negung. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. Coming, July 2009. Mark your calendars. All right, where are we now? I'm going to go back to this. Whoa. Let's talk about that. We already talked about it. Immortal.thunderwizard.com if you want to learn how to achieve immortality the different way. One way is to achieve enlightenment through experiencing all of your desires through multiple lifetimes. When you've experienced all of your desires, you no longer need to reincarnate. The other way is to raise your vibrational level through the practices I just showed you. If you take those same practices in the Celestial Qigong, the spirittao.com site, you combine them with immortal.thunderwizard.com, which is part of that same tradition. If you're able to master it, and I'm not saying that's easy to do because it's supposed to take, potentially a lifetime. If you're able to master that practice, then you raise your vibration to such a level that you phase out of existence and you retain. You don't phase out of existence, you phase out of three-dimensional manifestation and you go to a higher level. You're still in this manifestation, but like you can walk through walls, nobody can see you, that kind of thing. And you become a god. That way you hold on to your awareness, you don't have to be reborn, and then you can continue to do your practices, because that's really what gods are doing. Like when somebody becomes a god this way, they are in the universe continuing to do their meditations and their practice, their service to the universe, and they raise their level and still become enlightened in that way. So those are the two ways, to go through multiple lifetimes until you've achieved everything that you want, or to just pick one lifetime, if you have the karma to do it, and raise your vibrational level with life force energy in order to retain your awareness and become an immortal. That's immortal.thunderwizard.com. All right, do I have any more other questions here? Yeah, so Samantha Turner again, the best thing to do, I know a lot of people are just sitting on their phone. It kind of annoys me. It annoys me when people don't put the effort into writing whole questions, and some people say, I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. Well, yeah, I'm glad that you have the convenience of your phone, but put some effort into it. I respond better when people put effort and thought into what they're doing. But Samantha was responding to my question. She says she wants to know, does being on the 0 degree north help? And I said, what? And she said, in mantras, while doing mantras. Well, and then again, I find out the reason for her question, which she says, I always naturally line up to the 0 degree, and I always seem to channel a lot there. I heard you say north, but does degree matter? So this is the question. You need to give me that part of the question. You're asking because there's a need, and I want to be able to help that need. People, they throw things out, but if you don't tell me why you're asking the question, then I may not give you the answer that's going to be most helpful for you. So you're giving us your experience. So your experience is that you naturally line up to 0 degree north, and you seem to channel a lot there. And so you're asking me, does that help? Obviously it helps you. Your experience tells you that. You don't need me to tell you what your experience tells you. If you're asking about the science of mantra, then aligning yourself with north would be beneficial if you were chanting to the planet that happens to be in either Virgo or Gemini in your chart. Because that's really, there's something in you. And, in my chart, Mercury happens to be in Virgo. So for me, if I want to, I gave you the example because for me, if I were to chant to Lalita, the Mercury goddess one of the Mercury goddesses, I would, and use the Shri Yantra, I would face north and I would light incense, because Mercury is the deity I'm chanting to, the mantra, and in my chart, Mercury's facing its own sign, so it wants its own element of air, which is signified with incense. That's what I would do. I don't know what you would do because I don't know your chart. But I can already tell that there is a planet in Vedic astrology, not Western. Don't look up your Western chart because it won't be the same. In Vedic astrology, there is a planet that is in either Virgo or Gemini, which you are wanting to empower. And this is why you're lining up to 0 degrees north and you feel this thing happen. That's how this works. So to ask me, is it powerful to line up to 0 degree? Not for everybody, for you, and that's why. It would be beneficial for you to find out in your Vedic chart what planets are in either Virgo and Mercury and figure out why this is happening for you. Then you'll be able to figure out which god or goddess to be worshiping and all of that. Okay? Wanderer Warrior. Question. What if your Ishta Devata is the same as your Dharma Devata? Would this create some sort of conflict that I should be aware of? See, now you're just revealing so many things about you. It tells me right off the bat that you have fear issues, that you're stuck in your head. You know, that's like saying, that the universe aligned everything purposefully to cause you conflict. When the opposite is true. Your Dharma Devata and your Ishta Devata are the same planet? That's killing two birds with one stone. That means you can, normally the Dharma Devata is the planet you talk to. You don't do rituals to the Ishta Devata. I hope I said that right. The Ishta Devata is the planet you normally don't do rituals to. You don't even need to do a mantra. Mine is Venus. So I can talk to, I have a couple of Venus gods that I work with, and I just call them out by name, and hey, help me with this, and this is bothering me, and I need a parking space, and help me with that, and this person said this to me and hurt my feelings, and I want to make more money, and what should I do next? So that's normally how you deal with the Ishta. The Dharma Devata is the planet that you put the yantra and the candles and the thing and the offering and the 2,000, the foot, and you. So you're worried. It's like you're worried about it. I just want to say, stop thinking. It makes me want to ask you, do you smoke weed? If you do, stop. Because you're stuck in your head. Do you have a mentor? Have you worked with me? I know the answer is no. You need to talk with somebody because you are wrapped up in your head and you think you're figuring things out and you're making things worse for yourself. You have this thing that's come to you that the universe has said, you know what, we're going to give you a pass on this one. Your Ishta and your Dharma are the same thing. Go nuts. Just focus on one. Because you're going to go, 3? Oh my God, there's 3 planets and 3 gods, and which one should I do? The universe said, he thinks too much. Let's just give him one. You don't have to worry about it. Aren't you the same guy that was asking me multiple times, should I face north? Should I put my thunder wheel for the grid or for magnetic? And didn't you ask me 3 or 4 times and erase it and keep asking me? Was that you? Somebody did that. It's so stuck in your head. You need help. You need a mentor. If you want to work with me, you can become an apprentice if there's a spot, and I'll work with you. But you definitely need a mentor. Somebody to help you get you out of your head. Short answer is, of course, it's not going to cause a conflict. It in fact gets rid of the conflict. You don't have to worry about it. There's the answer to that question. All right, what else? Indica Farmer Sleeper. Question. Any info about mudras? Dude, come on, man. Ask a question. There's no shortage of info on mudras. Do you have a specific question about them? I have videos in my channel. Again, I think you were somebody I had explained it to and you asked, I think it was you. I typed into YouTube and it didn't come up. Well, that's because you didn't follow my directions. Maybe that wasn't you. You go onto my channel page. You go onto YouTube and you type in Thunder Wizard. Up will come my channel page. You go to my channel page. You see on the menu there, info about whatever, videos. There's a little magnifying glass. You click on that, another search bar will come up. Type in mudra and watch my videos on mudra. There is no shortage of info on mudras there. Then, after you've put the time and effort into studying the things on mudras that I teach, then you can come back and you can say, hey, in this video you said this about this mudra, and what is that? And then I'm going to go, well, and I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to go, dude, that's a lazy question, indica farmer. You're working that whole stereotype of laziness, indica farmer. Come on, man. Any info on mudras, man? Wow. Come on, man. Put some more effort into it. I believe in you. I didn't even get to the rest of it. Question, man. Any info about mudras or whatever they're called? I hope you have a good sense of humor. That used to be me in college. That voice, by the way, that was me not in college, in high school. People actually talked like that. Nowadays, it's a totally different thing. And like the whole, I should do videos about this stuff. Like the whole Valley girl talk, where you talk like this and you go up at the end, and now people talk like that, and it's all like a bunch. That was a new accent that was just coming up. And the hippie talk, that is how, if you were hip in the 70s and you were white, you talked like this, man. Hey, man, what's going on with the whatever, dude? We didn't say dude, actually, that came later. Hey, man, that's radical. That chick is mellow, man. Does she party? That is so cool, man. That's just like your opinion, man. We actually talked like that. All right. No more questions. And I got no more to sell you at the moment. So I am going to call it an afternoon. All right. But do go to all of these links. Let's get the links up here. And more, no, not that one. You already seen that one. Links latest is what I'm looking for. Where is that? Where is that link at, man? What is this one? I don't know what that one is. Links latest. There it is, man. All right, let's get rid of this one here. Come on, man. Don't bogart that, man. I only have one. All right, so thunderwizard.com. One of the best ways to support the channel is to go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. I am creating a new tier on the thunderwizard.com subscription page, which is the divine union of masculine and feminine. It started because I started getting, and I'm going to put I've got like a 45-minute video I'm going to put up later today, which if you can watch all of it, it's quite funny to me by the end of it. Because I'm getting kerfuffled about this whole twin flame thing. And the reason why it kerfuffles me is because there's a lot of really powerful teachings about the union of masculine and feminine. And the information that's getting thrown out there is completely just confused and incomplete. And so that got me thinking about masculine and feminine and yin and yang and the fusion of yin and yang and the power that is. So I'm going to start a whole new teaching on that, and that's going to be pretty much the replacement of it's going to be the next level of teaching. First level of teaching, as you saw, is the hundreds and hundreds of hours that I gave on the Mastery Shamanism course, which is the first level of subscription. Second level of subscription is the Manifestation Mastery course, and I went and talked about manifestation. And I've pretty much run out of, stuff for the time being on that. So we're going to move to the next level, which is the union of masculine and feminine. So if you're already at one of those levels, you can upgrade to that level, and you'll have access to everything else. If you want to just get to the top tier already, you can do that. You'll have access to all of the other videos where I give specific instructions. I've already told you about courses.thunderwizard.com. Everything is slashed, sometimes up to 70%, because I got to pay taxes. And then we do have the healing, energyhealing.thunderwizard.com, which I've been getting a lot of good reports on. So anyway, that's it. I've done all of my business. Yes, I do have to pay bills. That's why I do it. And then Charagahacht has asked a question. What Norse or Vedic gods or goddesses represent Venus? That's pretty easy to find out, but I'll tell you, the Vedic goddess for Venus, the big one, is Lakshmi. Another one is Indrani, the wife of Indra. The Norse goddess for Venus is Freja. And in the union of masculine and feminine, I'm going to go deep into Frey and Freja, why they're actually two essences. They're the two halves of the same being. They actually are, if there ever was such a thing as a twin flame, it is Freja and Frey. They are actually flip sides of the same essence, which is Venus. There you go. That's it. No more questions. I'm all done. I got stuff that I got to do, like lie on the couch and watch Netflix. All right. And then I'm going to upload another video later today, which you watch the whole thing. I went really long, but I thought it was funny. At the end, I was laughing at myself. All right. So that's it. All right, guys. See you soon. Oh, before I go, one last thing. How to chant a mantra with a mala. A mala is this. You want a mala with 108 beads. If you go and buy a mala, make sure it has 108 beads. Go on to Amazon or eBay, type in mala necklace 108 beads. Otherwise, these are malas, and I don't know how many beads are on there. It doesn't serve you if you want to do mantra recitation. You hold it in your hand like this. The big bead, which doesn't count, has the tassel on it. You drape it over the finger. You put your thumb on the first bead. If you're chanting Om Namah Shivaya, you would chant Om Namah Shivaya. You pull the bead towards you, pick your thumb up, put it on the next one. Om Namah Shivaya, pick it up, put it on the next one. Om Namah Shivaya. You do that, you go all the way around, you push your hand is in your lap, and you're Om Namah Shivaya, and then boom, you bump into the big bead again, and I'm done. That way you don't have to count. The reason why is because you have 108 energy channels in your body. When you chant a mantra 108 times, you fill your entire body with the whole mantra. Then you have this powered tool that you can wear. This is not how to wear a mala. This is not a pendant. It doesn't dangle down here. It drives me crazy when people do that. When I see that, I already know you don't know what the hell you're doing, and it drives me crazy. This is holding all of the power of the mantra. It's called the Meru bead. You wear it this way on the back of your neck so that the Meru bead touches your spinal column. Then the power of the mantra goes into your brain and into your spinal column and into your nervous system. You can wear your mantra wherever you go. You can also wear it around your wrist when you're done doing your mantra. And now I have the power of all of the mantras I've chanted, and I can carry it with me, and I've got my super bracelet. I can block bullets with it. Okay, that's the last thing I wanted to say. And then somebody threw out a question. Alekia Patra question, please tell me how to remove powerful black magic from myself. I talked about that yesterday. I talked about that in the other videos, but short answer to your question is get a session with me. You don't know how to get a session with me? You go to courses.thunderwizard.com, click on career, and then scroll to the bottom and get a session with me. And I'll find out what to do. Watch the video that I put up yesterday about getting rid of cleansing ghosts from your house. And if you want to start a practice, then I would do the celestial qigong, which is what I had up here earlier, which is, where'd it go? spirittao.com. Go do that practice. That is a spirit fighting practice. Other than that, it's very likely that you need counseling and you need to see how you are unconsciously seeking out this black magic. Because if you have black magic, you sought it out on an unconscious level. You just don't realize it. Bottom line is to stop being a victim and get on with your life, but you're probably going to need help. So get a session with me and I'll help you. All right? That's it. I swear I'm done. Bye-bye.